aim is to improve the elevate the function of the product, and that is what we wanted to do it. So 5 years back we started this department. So we are part of India Design Center, and we have a global team also.
We came up with an idea of having a specific portrait mode for them, and that was a wedding style portrait. We started with our V series models, and I think that is very.
मुझे भी पता है. I have become the official photographer at home. I need to click everybody's photos. That is the reason why I'm not there in any photos.
India is a very diverse country,
Correct.
Lot of skin tones. So the first thing which we did is we optimized our camera for Indian skin tones. Our camera understand the skin tones of Indian consumer, and accordingly it outputs the result.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Vivo Leadership Speaks. I have today a wonderful team, a team that is the heart of product, a team that is working every single day to make all these fantabulous phones that you see in your hands. I have Danish with me, who leads the product team, and I have Ranjan, who leads the India Creative Center. Thank you guys for making it. It is extremely awesome that you were able to join us.
Thank you, Geetaj, for inviting us.
Thank you, Geetaj, for having us here today. And the topic today which you have chosen is very close to my heart. I mean, design and technology is something which is like my first love. So, working here and being here is wonderful.
And to start off, you guys have been here for almost 10 years, almost as old as Vivo is. And how has the journey been?
I think a long journey which includes multiple phases. When we started, the organization, it was more about the survival of the organization than all about how we can survive in this market and how we can lead in certain domains. And now it's one of the leading brand in Indian market. So from a brand point of view, it's a lovely story. And from my personal growth also, I think it's more about evolving and seeing different phases of the organization. And
I'm sure it is wonderful to be a part of this journey. Starting from a room and being a part of something that is spread all across the country.
Yeah, that's something how life also goes on, and how the brand moves on.
And I think, what about you, Ranjan?
If I look back 9 years, so when I joined, I think in our head office near about 40 or 50 odd people were working there. And in my first interview, I had a very long conversation with our management about that what is the vision of the company. And they explained me that this is my vision, and after 9 years, I can see that vision is coming true now. So they have a wonderful vision about India, and that Vivo growth story for India is, I think, really wonderful. And the journey which I had, I started within marketing department, and then 5 years back I joined in this product department. It's such a wonderful, so many lovely people I have worked with, and it's really been really good.
I think smartphone design has also evolved, right? It is starting from the earlier times when we literally had black bricks that were called phones, and to what we have now, which is about 7.8 mm thin phones, which we could not even imagine. They're getting as close to a credit card as thin as possible. So how do you think, how important is design for smartphones?
I think design is quite important, and now our consumer, they also understand that design is important. Earlier it was important from a company's perspective, but now user also started to understand. So basically design aim is to improve the elevate the function of the product, and that is what we wanted to do it. So 5 years back we started this department. So we are part of India Design Center, and we have a global team also. And we started this design team with a vision that we want to just not to create a product which is technologically advanced, but also a product which improve the experience of a user from design perspective. So that was the aim, and I think we are working towards that direction.
Also, Geetaj, I want to add that in the past 10 years, right, the perception of being smartphone as a product has evolved to an experience, right? Here people are not just concerned about, I buy this product, this specification. They also think whether this phone will look good into my hand or not, whether this color suits me or not, whether this pattern is according to me or not, how is about the camera experience, all those things. So it is evolving from a product category to an experience category. That is why, you will find everyone, talking about, the experience itself.
I know, earlier we would buy a phone looking at just the features, and when now I also go into the market and see the way people are choosing phones. People, choose or discard a particular model because their color is not to their liking.
Absolutely.
And so many times
Yeah.
it happens, and once they hold it, the hand feel of the phone is so important these days that if it doesn't feel good in my hand, and everybody's hands are different, some people have really small hands, some people have really big hands, and to be able to do that, I'm sure that's quite challenging, isn't it?
Yeah, because smartphone is a part of your lifestyle now.
Yeah,
I think most of the time you are with your smartphone or your smartphone is with you.
correct.
Right, most of the time.
Absolutely.
Right? So this is how you define smartphone as a product according to your ecosystem. So I think if your phone remains with you for a longer period of time, I think more than your family members or your friend, right? In that way, you want your phone to be the best.
Exactly. So you've been here for the last 10 years as Vivo has grown. How do you think design has evolved with Vivo in India?
I think design हमेशा Vivo के लिए top priority पे रहा. When we started our products in Indian market, even from 2014, you can feel that even at that moment of time, the slimmest phone in the world was X5 Max, 4.75 mm.
Wow.
And then we launched X5 Pro, which was 2.5D glass, and even the slogan I remember was "Touched by Beauty." Okay, so the beautiful design of X5 Pro, led to a growth in the premium segment also for us. I think since then, since its inception in India, right, we give top priority to the design as well for the product, and whether it is color changing back, whether it is sunset melody, which we talked about, right? Whether it
I think the pop-up selfies, that's a huge
yeah,
design.
Yeah. So the design is not just about CMF. It is also
Correct.
about how your entire ID looks like. Whether it remains slim, whether you have a pop-up camera, whether you have a punch hole camera, or you have slim device with 5500 mAh of battery. So it's a combination of
Correct.
The specs along with the CMF and ID concept.
The looks, the feel, the hand feel, every single thing.
Everything.
So
And
we call
this
it experiential design. So where
Uh-huh.
it involves everything.
Correct.
How you hold it. You want to watch a movie, but how long you can watch that movie comfortably holding it in your hand. The design, the color. Color plays a very vital role because color can make area small. It can make it bigger. Color you have to carry it throughout your day in your pocket. Camera experience, the UI experience, everything has to talk to each other. So it's quite important for us. So that is where our research comes in hand. So we do a lot of research every year with a lot of our consumers, with our VPAs, with our retailers, and with other industry experts, and we try to find out what could be the right balance for it. So right now, like Danish talk about, the hand feel of the product. So we understand from consumer perspective that he like to have a lighter phone. But again, we need to give a bigger battery also. Then somewhere you need to strike a right balance. So that's the real challenge which we face. And for that, a lot of hard work goes in the background. So people only see the phone, but actual story behind it in developing, it's a really, really long
one. Any particular thing that you are really proud of, that you created or you have done in the past few years that is close to your heart and that really resulted in something great for the phone?
So after our V19, the design and aesthetics of our phone really changed, and we try to understand our Indian market audience, and somehow we understood that, and we introduced the Sunset Melody, if you remember.
Yes.
And it was a quite hit.
Absolutely.
after that also the
My
second
niece
product.
bought it just because of the sunset melody color.
Yes, absolutely. And people were expecting the same design in next series also, and we did that. But again, they wanted to have that. But we understand as a as a company, as a department, that we need to provide something new to them every time. If we are giving same thing, then I think that may or may not work with the audience. So what we did, the color changing technology.
That was so
Yeah.
cool, and I think it
Yeah.
cool, and I think it was an industry first at that time,
Yeah.
and it was quite a hit.
It took more than 3 years to develop that technology. We
Wow.
worked with lot of vendors. We see this technology were used in opticals, but later on we worked with them, and then somehow we used it in our smartphone. And if I remember correctly, 2 years back we also showed this technology in our tech day also. That how
Yes,
does it
yes.
works? Yes.
And then this time we showed the liquid material ink. That was
Yes.
liquid magnetic ink, right?
Yeah.
It was quite cool when I saw when we took those plates and put them on the liquid ink, and we put them on metallic plates, and how they really changed
Yeah.
design. Was
I think it's more about how we have defined different processes, right? How we have enhanced our R&D capabilities, right? How we have enhanced our consumer insights capabilities so that we can deliver the best. Because at the end, consumer will feel that the product, or he can even he can touch the surface, which you mentioned, that particle ink technology. But at the back end, that is our job, how to solve that problem. For example, recently we launched V40 Pro, right? Where that is having 5500 mAh battery, but still it is one of the slimmest phone in that battery category. So this is how we overcome those kind of challenges so that we meet the right internal benchmarking criteria. So when we have different pieces of customization, whether it is design, whether it is camera, whether it is web, then we thought of that we should give more attention to the detailing about detailing on the consumer's point of view. So then we came up this with the concept of having a creative center which can address the need of local Indian consumers. And
Got it.
then we have camera, we have the design, industrial design center we call it, we have OS. So we have different branches of that, and this is how we have started working on to it.
Brilliant. I think we are looking forward to such designs coming for India.
Yeah.
And and we've seen some brilliant designs already there. Starting from the sunset melody that we talked about, and then we have also spoken about how thin some of these phones are. The liquid magnetic ink that we have, liquid
Magnetic particle
particle ink
ink technology
that we
Yes.
had.
Yeah.
And we've also had the color changing.
Color
bags.
changing.
I think these are all some brilliant innovations, and we are looking for something more interesting from you soon.
Yeah, sure.
Quite a challenge we have on our hands. We want phones that are sliver thin. They have the best possible cameras. They want the biggest possible batteries, and it still has to be extremely light. How do you guys even do it? It's magic, to say the least.
I think we act as a bridge, between the consumer insights which we get by meeting different kind of consumers, right? And we also evaluate, what kind of technology is available. Definitely, it is a difficult job, but we need to make it interesting, and we need to make something which is acceptable to the consumers. So this is how there are multiple iterations. It's a design-driven process. I will say it's design thinking which we follow internally. So it's all about making different optimization to have wonderful product.
Another important thing is about bridging the global trends to the trends in India,
Yeah.
right? Because we are making for the world, but we are customizing for India. How do you even do that? I think that's another interesting juggling game that you have to play.
Yeah, definitely. It is one of the important work for us, because localization is something which is very, very important from a product experience point of view. So it is not just about doing localization just in terms of design. We also try to optimize even the camera experience. Even certain parts of OS also comes under it. So it's all about how we can localize the experience.
Got it.
According to Indian consumers need, because maybe certain consumers, they need more I think bright camera. In certain areas they want more natural camera, so on. So there are multiple of optimizations which are required.
I think there are a couple of features that you've built in the camera, since you just talked
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yes. And what are those?
Yeah, recently I think one of the interesting and which is widely acceptable by our consumers also the wedding style portrait. हमने देखा कि most of the time जितने भी consumers होते हैं जब भी वो शादी में जाते हैं they try to capture their moments, right?
Correct.
और शादी में जाते हैं moments को capture करते हैं immediately they want to share to their friends, they want to also upload on social networking sites.
Correct.
तो हमने देखा कि वहाँ पर लोगों को they might face certain problem in terms of low light, colors को capture करना currently. So we came up with an idea of having a specific portrait mode for them, and that was a wedding style portrait. We started with our V series models, and I think that is very very.
मुझे भी पता है. I have become the official photographer at home. I need to click everybody's photos. That is the reason why I'm not there in any photos.
Yeah, I think if in the upcoming time we are also trying to understand, what are the key scenarios according to Indian consumers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we can provide certain specialized features. Because see, it's not just about हर आदमी के पास 50 megapixel camera है, 24 megapixel है, 20 है. It's not just about resolution. This is also about the optimization, the end result of that camera.
Absolutely. And it should be shareable, right? सीधा
Yeah,
Instagram पे जाना चाहिए.
Yeah.
है ना? It should be ready for Instagram. I think
Yeah.
that becomes very challenging. The colors are very important. I think we have done something on festive style also, right?
Absolutely right. So we have done something similar for the festival style also. So basically, India is a very diverse country.
Correct.
Lot of skin tones. So the first thing which we did is we optimized our camera for Indian skin tones. Our camera understand the skin tones of Indian consumer, and accordingly it outputs the result.
Mm-hmm.
If you see our product, a global one or from any other country, you will find it is a completely differently optimized.
Got it.
So this
So
is
we are
one of the
optimizing
main
everything
reasons.
for
Yes,
India,
yes,
right?
for India.
It's so cool. The hardware is getting optimized for India with the CMF. The software is getting optimized for India in terms of operating system, and the camera itself is being made for India with new modes like festive style portrait and wedding style portrait. So Ranjan, tell me this. You've been a part of the India Creative Center since the beginning. What, according to you, have been the top 3 things that India Creative Center has done since it came into being?
The most important thing which we have done is we have tried to understand our Indian consumer and then try to build the solution around it. In camera, we understood the skin tone of Indian consumer. That was quite a difficult, challenging task for us. In CMF, we have nailed, I think, the CMF part, the color, material and finish, and be it V29 or V series or Y series product, whatever nowadays you see, this is all coming from the department.
So the top 3 things according to you would be, number 1 is the understanding of the consumer, that is the consumer research that gets us to the next part, which is creating newer features for consumers, right?
Right.
And features come in 2 different forms again. One is in terms of camera and second in terms of design. The camera features have come in form of, probably as you said, the wedding style portraits,
festive style
and festive style portraits.
Yes.
And second, and the last one, which is closest to your heart, which is CMF, and designing phones that are loved by Indian consumers to hold in their hand as well as to look at.
Right.
What next, Danish? What is happening next?
That is a big surprise, I think. That's something.
I don't want you to give any surprises here, but what is the direction that we are looking at? I think that is what we would want to know.
I think the most important point is that we are here to address the consumer's challenges and how we can bring the latest technological innovations to solve the consumer's pain point. I think that is the bigger direction. And in terms of whether it is camera design, we will be working on our directions accordingly. And I think that is why we call it in order to pursue perfection, constantly create surprises. So that is something.
Well, this time surprise was a purple color. Can we look at any such different kind of colors coming in future phones?
Sure. So now you talk about the CMF part, which is like my favorite. So to give a right CMF for the right audience, first we have to understand the international trend, the national trend, and you talk about that. How do we know that this is the upcoming trend, and how do we do the trend forecasting? So every year we work for 3 months and we output a report in the month of January or February, which is having a lot of trend forecasting for our different series from Y to X and V. So there we output all the possible scenarios of materials or the finishes or the textures, and we also study the mega trends, and from those mega trends we try to drive the smaller trends. And every trend is not for everyone, right? Maybe
Correct.
our V series audience is a bit different, and from Y series, one trend I can talk about right now is few years back. Normally what we have is one black color and then one chromatic direction. Right now you see the trend of plain black color is going down and down in the industry.
In between,
You
white
s-
also became very popular.
Yeah, white is also very popular, and in dark direction we have a chromatic direction. They are following. It is in V series also, in Y series also, and possibly, who knows, in X series it could be also possible,
Oh my
right?
God, X in a very interesting color. Is that what I am looking at?
So I think it's all about everybody wants differentiation.
Yes.
Everybody wants to look different, right? So it is not just about I want blue color or black color. I want a different color, a unique color, which nobody
Else
should have
has.
it. Else should have it. So it's all about how you meet those kind of requirements of the consumer. Otherwise, consumers they have a lot of options, right? They will choose, okay, I will not take this and I will take this. It's all about how they are changing. Then we need to change accordingly.
So I'll second that, and I will also add one more point. The first thing consumer experience in a store is its CMF.
Correct.
Even before holding the phone, he sees the color. When he holds the phone, he experiences the tactile surface of the phone,
Correct.
and then he see all the graphics and all information later. That is the first thing, and that is true for the online consumer also.
Correct.
The only differentiation there is, even if it is an online specific product, that the color and design which you have,
I know.
that is the biggest attraction they have, apart from the spec. Spec everybody can can have all
Specs
the
are
same,
pretty similar, right?
Yeah.
pretty similar, yes. And we have also noticed earlier, the reason to purchase for our consumer, design is in bottom 5. Now it is top.
Wow.
From last 4-5 years, it is
Because
top.
probably I think
So the whole landscape is completely changed.
I know, because I think the performance has become baseline. Like, even if you take phones which are 15,000, 20,000, 25,000, you would still get good enough performance to do most basic tasks that we have to do. But I think design becomes a huge differentiator then, because it is also an accessory that we have, right? It is something, as Danish earlier mentioned, we are with our smartphones, and smartphone is with us throughout the day.
Yeah.
It is probably the most used accessory also that we have, that we are carrying with us. And I think design then becomes extremely important to that particular product, because it becomes very personalized. It becomes a matter of choice. So I think, as you earlier said, it has been an interesting journey. I think it is becoming even more exciting as we are moving more towards Indianizing what we have done. And anything that you would want to say to close up
No, I
the
think it's
conversation?
not just about Indianization. I think a bigger vision which we have is design for India.
Correct.
Right? That is something which we are working on, and in the upcoming time we will find certain initiatives which we will take in the upcoming time as well. And we have already done that. So I think it's more about how we can remain more consumer oriented, right? It's more about how we can solve their problems through our wonderful technological innovative products. And it's also about how we can have visionary approach for the long
Absolutely,
period.
bringing joy to people's lives through simplified technology and experiences.
Design human-centric designs. All our products should be human-centric design, be it OS, be it CMF or design or camera. We keep our consumer at the center of it, and we design solution all around it, so that our consumers are happy with us and they can stay longer with us, and I think they love us.
So when you sum up all these things, it's more about how we are committed to India market, and how we are delivering our products to the end consumers under the design for India.
Brilliant.
That is something which I want.
So you are at the center at Vivo in design. The phones that we are coming out are designed for you, with you at the center. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Danish
Geet.
and Ranjan, for joining us. It has been an exhilarating conversation, exciting, and I'm sure all of our viewers would come out learning something new. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gitesh. Thank you.